What's going on, my planting people? I'm Lithius, this is Roots Ready. Today we are going to be doing some big chops, some small chops. We are getting our plants ready for this coming spring, this coming summer. So strap in, it's going to be an interesting one. As I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of work on my plants. You will know, if you've been following my journey for a long time, that the winter is always a very tough time for my plants. I tend to go into the winter quite nervous about my plants because I know I always inevitably lose one or two. This winter was no different. It was very, very tough. I lost some really important plants. I lost some really key plants and plants I've had for a long time that I really treasure and prize. And sadly, I've lost a few. And I'm doing some rehab work. So stay tuned. You would have seen my previous video about some of the work that I've had to do so far. But in today's video, I'm just going to do some prepping. This is not really about saving any plants in particular. This is just about managing and maintaining that care of my plants that I do during this season. So it's going to be a little bit of an interesting one. So stick around for that. So I've got my trusty shears with me. I've got some big chops. I've got some little ones. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna go for it. It's always scary. It's always scary to do these propagations. But trust me, sometimes your plants just need it. And we're gonna start off right here. Right here and right here. As you can see, I've got these two massive fig trees behind me. This is my Elastica. This is my rubber tree. This one over here is my fiddle leaf fig. And we're gonna do some really heavy pruning. And I've also got a massive 8-litre water sprayer here. This is going to be the first time since autumn that I've fertilized my plants. I've got my fertilizer in here because during the winter I tend not to do that. I don't want any buildup of salts and stuff in the substrate because obviously the plants are not growing as much, so they're not really using as much. So I tend to really claw back on that. So now that we're deep into spring, I'm going to get onto that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my propagations first, and especially with these fig trees, because when you cut them, they produce so much sap. I don't want to water them first because that's just going to be, there's more circulation, there's more stuff happening. So I'm going to have to be cleaning up a lot more sap. So I've decided I'm going to water after I do all of my pruning. But let's go in. Let's give it a go. I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out, how far I'm going to go, but I know I'm going to be going quite low, especially with these things. Because look, it's about to hit the ceiling. That one has a bit of a way to go, but this one, it's pretty much touching the ceiling. It's literally touching the ceiling. So I'm going to have to do some work on that one. So as you can see, the plant is very, very high, and I could come in and just propagate just the top few leaves, but I don't think that's good enough. I think I'm going to have to go very low. I'm thinking somewhere about here. So I'm cutting off a good meter, maybe about 60 centimeters worth of growth on this. And my plan is that if I can cut this, I can promote some branching as well. So that will make it like a nice tree, like a miniature tree, as opposed to just a long, leggy situation that I've got here. So let's go in and let's cut this bad boy. So at first I was thinking about cutting it from about here, so you can see there'll be quite a big chop there. But I'm thinking I may even go a little bit lower because why not? I'm going to go as low as here, just from here. Give that a cut, just like that. There we go. That's cut. You can see that's going to start bleeding. You can already see a bit of that sap coming out, and it's not much. There's definitely more sap coming out of this top one than the bottom one. So that's absolutely fine. What I may attempt to do with this is to root it out and to repot it into that, and then maybe have like a 2-tree situation going on. So we'll see how that goes. But in any case, we've done it. We've done a massive chop, and you can already see the difference it's made to the space, how much more light there is. Look at that. Look at that. Lovely. So this is the rubber tree that I've got growing here, and there are 2 trees in here, and both of them have been propagated or have been pruned in the past. So there's one here, and on the second tree you can see that space over there. So this tree, for whatever reason, has been really slow growing. So I may not cut this one I'm not sure. I don't think this stem here, this tree, you can see it's really wrinkly. I don't think this is a very healthy stem. So I think me cutting this is only going to cause more problems. So what I might do instead was just trim this other tree here. I'm going to cut this tree to about here. And that way it matches the other growth on the other tree that's not doing as well. Ooh, good catch. Very good catch. This one certainly bleeds a lot more than the other one. You can see that. That's why this is used for rubber making. Okay, so I'm going to put this into a pot so that we don't get that sap everywhere. But look at that. Look at that. That made such a big difference just chopping those 2 trees down. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they do well. You know what's crazy, right? This is one of the plants that was really, really suffering. I came back from St. Lucia and the top 2 leaves or something was like properly brown and just dead. You can even see from this stem here, see how wilted and just unsavable this plant looked. I thought that was the end of it. But I propagated it and look at this, something to celebrate. Look at that, 1 growth point, 2 growth points, 3, 4, and I think that's it. I think there's a couple more, like there's one down here that may push out something very, very soon near my thumb. Where I thought this plant was not going to do very well, it's actually thriving. What am I going to do? I'm going to leave these leaves on as it is, seeing as the plant is making every effort to bounce back. This would make it my 3rd time losing this plant. So the fact that it's still here and it wants to live, I'm going to support this plant to do just that. All right, so I don't think this plant needs anything done with it. As I said, I'm just going to put it back near the window and leave it be. This is another plant that was really suffering. Look at it, so leggy. This is my waterfall style avocado bonsai. I've been on quite a journey with this plant. You know, you may have seen this. A lot of people, their first time seeing my channel may have been through seeing one of my avocado bonsai videos. But this one, sadly, looked like it was on its way out. Again, when I came back, it was severely just underwatered. It wasn't underwatered, I would say. So the problem with avocados, they're very thirsty. And if you don't stay on top of the watering, it will hate you and it will drop all of its leaves. And that's pretty much what happened here. As you can see, most of the leaves are gone. However, I've come back, got back onto my watering routine, kept on top of it. And you can see, especially from here, look at all of those leaves that are now starting to come back in. So, and not just that, all along the stem, there's so much growth happening here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim up this plant a little bit. So for example, there's some brown parts just there. So I'll go ahead and I will just chop that off just to clean it up. For example, over here as well, there's another one. So chop that off, chop this bit here off. And then there's a big bit over here, so get rid of that. That's pretty much it for this plant. So that's being cleaned up. That's looking a lot better. And we'll just give the plant the space to grow, to regrow its leaves. And hopefully this side starts to grow some leaves as well. Otherwise, we're just gonna have it very concentrated on this side. So yeah, that's it. Another bonsai that I've been working on is this. This is a rubber tree. This is a cutting I took from, I was about to point up here, but I've just chopped it down. It's a cutting that I took from there, and I tried to turn it into some kind of bonsai tree. So I've sort of did this last summer, I believe, and I haven't really done much with it since then. So what I'm going to do is very quickly is I'm just gonna do a bit of pinching on this plant. So what I want to do is I want to try to get the plant to reduce its leaf size. As you can see, like these ones are very big compared to these ones here, and that's sort of the size I want to keep this plant at. So yeah, I'm just going to go in, do a little bit of work on this plant again, just to sort of try to keep those leaves very, very small. This growth here, which is a much bigger stem, as you can see, it's grown. This one, it's just produced this leaf here, and just under it here is where the next leaf will emerge from. So I'm just gonna pinch the top of this off. Just come in and just chop that off, and hopefully that will be okay. I'm gonna do the same on this other growth here, and I'm just gonna chop that off. I'm also gonna cut this one off, although this leaf here is starting to unfurl. we're gonna come in and we're gonna give that a little bit of a snip. This one here, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with it because all the leaves are getting a bit too big. So I may have to cut this one all the way back. It's quite a big growth here, and these larger leaves are actually coming off of this main stem here, as you can see just here where my finger is. So I'm actually going to cut below the largest leaf on this one, just like that, and there we go. We've miniaturized this again. So we're going to put this back on the windowsill and let it do its thing. This is my Hoya, my Crinkle 8. It's doing quite well. I think it's in need of a water because these leaves are looking quite thirsty. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do that. But I did notice that there's one stem that has died. This one has been a bit troublesome, let's say, for quite a while. So it's always the one that's never looked that great. And this time, this winter took it. But the rest of the plant is still very much healthy. So I'm just gonna chop this at the base here, and I'm gonna give this a very good water, and the leaves should perk back up very, very quickly. And that's it for this plant. It can go right back over there and hung up right in front of the window. Got a couple of dead and dying Hoyas. Unfortunately, there is nothing, absolutely nothing I can do about this. Look, the leaves are falling off. So these are just gonna go straight in the bin. This one was my Finlaysonii. This is what's left of it. It's time to say goodbye. Some other plants that have really, really suffered are my seedlings. So these are my Anthurium forgetii plants. And as you can see, some of them sadly haven't made it. A lot of them have very, very crispy leaves up here. There's loads of them that haven't made it. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna chuck out the ones that haven't been successful. To be completely honest with you guys, I actually thought there were gonna be a lot more dead and dying plants in this. But not really, not really. Considering there's about another 40, 50, maybe more plants, and only 9 plants have died, that's pretty good going. So I'm quite happy with that. So to make my life a little bit easier, I've gone through and I've pulled out all of the plants that are dead and all need some work, right? So it's gonna be one of the 2 criteria. And I thought it would just be easier just to show you what I've got here. So I'm gonna pull the plants out one by one. This was... What was this? This was a forgetii plus a crystallinum. Unfortunately, this plant has seen many better days, and I don't think there's any saving this one. So this is one that's going to go in the compost bowl. So this is all of the plant matter. This is what the roots look like. Ew. There is no life in this at all. Oh my days. It's like, it's soft, it's mushy, it's a mess. That one's gonna be worm food in a couple of minutes. This one is not labeled. It's a type of philodendron, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure what it is, but come on. Come on. This plant, to be fair, I'm glad to see the back of. This is my philodendron micans. This thing has been on a downward spiral for the longest time, for many, many years. I'm quite proud that it hung in there for so long, but it's gone now. I think it needs to accept its fate as well. And to be fair, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to save this plant. So I think you have to know where to draw the line with some of these plants. So into the compost bowl it goes. This right here is what's left of my philodendron 69686. And the second time I've tried to grow this plant, and every single time I try, this plant just refuses to live. Like, it grows really, really well for a time, for a season, and then winter comes along and it dies. So I'm quickly learning the plants that like my environment, I'm going to continue in that path. I'm going to follow their lead. Plants that don't like me, this Bimocrianum, I don't think I'm going to try again. Third time and you're out. This is my Hoya Seberac. This is going to be worm food as well. Look at that. That's a joke. Another Hoya. This is the Hoya Black Edge. I didn't label this one. I'm not quite sure, but I think it is the Black Edge. Just dying. Not happy. I don't think there's any point trying to save any of this plant. I do believe that it is fully dead. So unfortunately, this one's going to go. I must be honest with you. I'm not upset about these plants. I've got to the space now where these plants, they haven't done well, and they haven't done well for so long that I think I'm better off for my mental health, my mental well-being, I should say. Yeah, these plants are just not for me. Or I just don't have the skills to care for these plants, and that's completely fine. That's completely fine. This is my philodendron rugosum, or like pigskin philodendron. And as I was pulling this from underneath the shelves over there where it has its own grow light, this section just fell off. It just plopped off. But you can see that before it even fell off, that the stem was very, very thin. So you can see that there was a bit of a reduced, there was nothing going to this plant. So I don't think this top one is going to grow. There are no roots or anything. So I'll throw this top cutting away. But I have noticed though that there are 2 growth points on this plant. So one just here and another one down here. So this plant is still going for it. Oh, there's one up here as well. Look at that. Look at that. So that's looking good. So I'm going to leave this plant as is. I'm going to slow down on the watering as well. I think over watering was partly the reason why this plant went downhill. We're going to find a new spot for this plant. Maybe it doesn't like it where it is. Maybe the grow light just isn't enough, isn't sufficient. So we'll find somewhere new for this. So this one is good. I've got a gloriosum here that I tried to save. This was once one of my massive plants, but unfortunately, I don't think this cutting has made it. Now, I've got a couple other gloriosum cuttings here, and all of them, like for example, first looks, you'll think that's dead. But if you zoom in a bit more, where my finger is, you can see there's a bit of life coming in there. This one is still not fully dead. There's some green on the base of the plant down there. And then this one over here also has a little bit of green just here where my finger is. So I will try to save these ones. And I think the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to unpot these and maybe put them in one pot together with some fresh substrate. Let's see if that works for these. So what I've done is I've hydrated, it doesn't look like it, but I've hydrated some moss. That's going to be my substrate of choice for these gloriosums. So I'm going to transfer this into a pot and I'm going to bury the little stems in there so that as soon as those new roots start to emerge around the new shoots, they've got something to grip onto. So I am going to bury them ever so slightly and pop them in a plastic bag just like that so that the humidity can stay relatively high in there. And that's it for this one. The only thing left to do today is to water all of these plants, making sure that they get a very good soak. That includes all of my cacti and succulents because they need it. I've been watering them very sparingly over the last couple of months just to sort of build them up to get to this point where they can be watered properly. And now is that time. So I'm going to go give them all a very good soak with some fertilizer. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, keep planting.